ClO2 or chlorine dioxide is a new product we're going to use that safely sanitizes, disinfects, and deodorizes. It's great for bacteria, algae, fungi, mold, and viruses. We will of course use it mainly for mold. It's also used for embedded smoke and food odors, pet and dead animal odors even, urine, vomit, garbage, and chemical odors. No VOCs, which I'm actually not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's good. No staining. The only thing I have heard that it could potentially stain are blue fabrics. So blue curtains, blue bed coverings, all of those should be removed before we do this process. If a home has blue fabric, we should recommend biofogging with Benefact Decon 30 over doing this chemical process. It's also not masking, so lots of household products for odor like Febreze, they just mask the odors, cover them up so our senses can't sense them. And then as time goes on, the chemical starts to wear down and then the odors return. This does not do that. This treats it at the source, getting rid of the odor source completely, making it so the odor never returns. It's also not bleach and not chlorine. For what we're doing, mold removal, we're going to be using the black pack on the far left. This pack has more of the chemical in it, and so it allows us to biofog for longer, vapor fog for longer. So there's 3 steps. Our steps are going to be exactly the same for mold treatment up until the fogging portion. And so whenever we're doing this process, we do everything the same. We treat it with the Decon 30. We're going to pull out anything we need to, scrub it down, HEPA vacuum, spray it again, and then encapsulate. And then instead of fogging like we normally would, that's when we would go here to step 2. And step 2 is we're combining these chemicals together, and it creates a vapor which will go throughout the whole entire house and hit everywhere that air hits. It will be touched by this product. So it's getting into the air ducts, the HVAC systems, it's getting into the attic, into all the cupboards around the home, everywhere is getting hit with this. And then the last step is air out the space. So we're gonna open all the doors and windows so that all of the excess vapor can leave the home. This process has to be done in the evening because the chemical does not react as good when there's sunlight pouring in. Make sure all carpet is completely dry. If it's wet, it will be stained by the chemical. So for this example, we're at a condo where there's no visible signs of mold, but the owner set out these petri dishes and found a lot of mold. So the first step is you want to open any cupboards, doorways, appliances, just to make it even easier for the chemical to spread everywhere. It's going to get everywhere no matter what, but it's really important just to make sure everything's wide open. These could trip the smoke alarms, so we want to completely cover the smoke alarms with blue tape. Just go overboard and covering them completely. This is everything that we need to do the entire process. So first we need the chemical, of course. This is part B, and we need a part A as well. We need some of our normal poly bags. We need an air pump, 1 air pump for every 2 buckets. And then of course we need the tube that pumps the air through it. These stones help disperse the air within the water. Some spoons for mixing the solutions, some of our standard blue tape, 2 buckets for every 1 pair of packs. I put a line inside the buckets with a Sharpie at the 1 gallon mark because we have to fill up each bucket with 1 gallon of water. So it just helps you make sure you're hitting it on the mark exactly. An hour before you do this process the first time, the stones should be soaked in water. They don't need to be turned on like these ones are in the video. Just soak them in some water, not even attached to the tubes, for about an hour. This just makes sure that when we put them on the tubes and get the air flowing, that they are flowing properly. 1 bucket should be right outside the AC intake the entire night. This will ensure that the HVAC system and the air ducts are fully coated with this product, and the fan for the AC should be turned on all night. You'll want to double check and triple check to be absolutely certain that you have 1 A and 1 B. You do not want to mix 2 A's together or 2 B's together. So you open up the packet, you'll see they're double packaged, inside there's another package. You'll see that the B package is kind of that buffed dull metal and the A is that shiny bright metal. So now you'll go through the entire home, turn off every light that you can. Make sure you have enough light to get out, but you'll want to hit all the lights on your way out as well. Turn off the fans, everything besides the AC fan. So now you mix them together. So start by pouring just one into the bucket with a gallon of water, of course, and then take your big spoon and start mixing it. You want to mix it really well for really like 30 seconds to a minute. You should be mixing it. You'll hear it kind of sounds grainy, like you're mixing sand into water. It will stay like that for a while, but you want to get it as smooth as possible. So now here's the A, the shiny metallic bag going in that one. It doesn't really matter which one goes in which, it's just water mixing with the chemicals. But you'll want to mix that one again for another 30 seconds to a minute. If you don't mix it long enough, you'll start to hear popping and cracking when you pour them together. And if you hear that, that's not good, because that means we could start getting some leaks, which is why the buckets are in bags. Make sure the buckets are sitting on a bag and the bag kind of goes around it to catch any leakage. But yeah, you just want to make sure you get that really good, really stirred in, so there's no chance that we're going to get those pops. Now plug in the air pump and combine the two buckets. So pour one bucket into the bucket that's sitting in the bag. You'll see it change colors immediately. Next, you'll grab the stone at the end of the tube, put it in the bucket, and you should see bubbles immediately. You should, if you look closely, see some vapor and start to be able to smell it as well. And so then you know it's working if you're smelling it. And you should really be wearing a face mask while you do this. You'll want to plan your route beforehand, so that way you start with the buckets furthest from the front door and work your way towards the front door by doing the buckets in that direction. That way you're not backtracking over areas that the fogging's already begun in. And so like I said, you should be wearing a full face respirator while you do this. And when you're done with this, all this solution that's left over in the buckets, there will be a lot in the buckets sitting there in the morning when you get back. That can all just be dumped down a toilet. So if you're there at 8 p.m. at night, you want to show up at 8 a.m. the next morning, 6 p.m. at night, 6 a.m. the next morning. So all you'll do in the morning is you'll go in with a full face respirator, open up all of the doors, all of the windows, dump any of the excess chemical into the toilets. Make sure you don't dump it down a stainless steel sink. So down a toilet, you'll of course unplug all of your pumps, you'll bag up into your trash, put all the buckets together, and then make sure you hang out there with all the doors and windows open for at least an hour. Hour and a half or so would be great. And then you are done. You can shut all the doors, shut all the windows. You should be fine now to walk into the home without the full face mask. You should smell, it should smell like you're in a hotel that has a chlorine pool inside. And it's good to go. It's extremely sanitary in there. The test should come back totally clean. And if you have any questions tonight, I'll be up late, so feel free to give me a call at any time. Definitely refer to this video first, but call me if you have any questions. And then in the morning as well, feel free to call with any questions that you guys may have. Thank you.